It is estimated that every 12 seconds, a baby girl is aborted in India. There is a preference for sons, and that's leading to a seismic population shift, including some villages where a girl hasn't been born in decades. This crisis is the focus of a new documentary by filmmaker Rama Rao called The Daughter Tree, and she is with us today in studio. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Making this documentary was no small feat. You spent 6 years working on the project. Why was it important for you to tell this story?
I grew up in India, and I always wanted to talk about the experience of growing up female in India. And I always say this film has been in development all my life. So when I found out that this was the real story, I said, I want to make a film on this. I have to.
And you must be so excited now that that work is culminating in this world premiere tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's been 6 years. But I'm really happy. I'm done, I'm finished, and I'm ready to show it to the world.
You know, I watched it yesterday, and the documentary delves into this issue very deeply, but it also explains the culture around this and sort of why this preference for boys came to be. So can you explain that to people who may not be familiar with it?
I think it's the dowry system in India. I think because it's been from centuries that the bride is given a dowry when she goes to her husband's house. And so through the years, we find that girls are looked down on. They're seen as a burden to the parents because, you know, now you have to collect the money to buy her a dowry. So I think from that it's become, and there's another reason why in North India there's more of a significance of this happening because they used to be invaded. India historically has been invaded from the north through the pass in the Himalayas. So right from Genghis Khan's time, you know, there have been waves of invasion. So men, you need soldiers. So historically, culturally, religious, everything points towards, you know, the girl being devalued.
And there are extreme cases of this now in some villages where you visit one where a girl hasn't been born in 3 decades. So what is the fallout from this situation there?
Well, the weird irony is that science has actually helped in this. Sex determination tests were used 20 years ago. Now it's illegal in India, so it's less. But the fact remains that no girl has been born in many of these villages, and that's why they are called villages of men. And the fallout really is that now there are 20-year-olds up to 30-year-olds without any prospect of having a family. And it's tragic, really, because it's for no fault of theirs. Every family boasts of having 4 to 5 sons. The sons have no future. So that's become a huge issue now. And for me, it was the irony of the whole thing, the sadness of the whole thing that drew me to that story.
It is terribly sad for a lot of them, and you can see that in the way they communicate their life situations. There is a wonderful midwife who you follow through the doc. She's advocating for baby girls in India. Tell us more about her, and why did she take up this cause?
I think it's been her lifelong, you know, dream to save baby girls because she herself is childless. And for me, that was so, like, this is what you look for in a film, in a documentary, where you can't write these characters. You can't just create them like in a script for fiction. And I was given this gift of meeting her. You know, she was loudmouthed, she was foul-mouthed, she was articulate, she's funny, she's very, very bold. And on top of everything, imagine being a midwife who couldn't give birth to a baby herself. So I think that's where the whole thing comes from, where she wanted to save baby girls because she used to be part of the system before, where she assisted, you know, in the whole thing of having babies before. So now she felt she had to give back.
One of the bright spots in the documentary is this village that it's named after, the Daughter Tree. So how did you find that village, and how are they trying to change things?
Actually, I had just these 2 stories at first, the Village of Men and the Midwife, and I was researching more, you know, and then I just read this story. It was a random little newspaper article saying, remote little village in Bihar, India, which plants a tree every time a girl baby is born. I was like, oh my God. So I literally just went there. I went there knowing nothing. I went to the wrong village at first, and then I found my way back. I just went with a very small crew, me, my DP, and my assistant. And we said, we want to know more about what you do. And they welcomed us. I found out more, and I said, oh my God, this could be a solution. It could be an environmental, a gender solution to India. And I said, can I film here? And they said, yes. And I said, that's going to be the arc of my film, where you start with this, but the end. Because for me, I think hope is so important. You know, I really want people to understand that there's so much more you can do instead of just being a victim or blaming someone else or saying, oh my God, it's cultural, let's leave it at that.
It is powerful, tragic, also with a glimmer of hope. Thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you.
And The Daughter Tree will screen at the Hot Docs Canadian International Documentary Festival in Toronto.